Yo, what's up, everybody? I hope everyone can hear me. Welcome back to another show here tonight. As you can see, the YouTube channel changed its name tonight. Or it was really, I think I did it earlier this morning, but had some branding issues with the red zone. But I think I'm going to incorporate that somewhere else into this, the podcast video, whatever. Probably going to make it like a segment about I don't know. We'll find a way to use it in a different light. But tonight I just wanted to kind of hang out with you guys and go over James Williams's mock draft. Right. So I'm going to do a mock draft tonight. As you can tell, I am by myself this evening, but that's okay. We're going to get right into it. But I first want to say, I do really want to say thank you to all of my friends who've been coming on the podcast with me. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all this stuff that they've done for the show. We're still so small, and yeah, it's just good to have a nice group of guys who like to talk football, like me, and it's just nice to have that tight knit group of people who enjoy doing the same thing you like to do. But yeah, no. So when I made this show, it was kind of like a no brainer. Like, of course I'm going to sit here and talk about football. Are you kidding me? Like, it's the easiest thing in the world. It just kind of becomes second nature for me. But yeah, we're going to try and do this show by myself. Um, Tomorrow I want to have Peyton on. We may do it at like 7 o'clock, but I'll send out a link on Twitter, on Instagram. I'll send all those links out tomorrow once I figure out a time. But yeah, no, like just want to sit here and hang out with you guys. Think about some of the big draft picks coming up this year. It's going to be a big year for a lot of these college players. I think it's a really strong draft class in regards to like edge rushers and I think the running back room will be surprisingly good this year, and that's kind of top heavy with Ashton Genty. But I think there's some other good running backs down the board. On this show yesterday, we spread misinformation about Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne declared for the draft today, so I don't know if he's going to be in on PFF right now or not, but Travis Etienne will be heading to the draft. He will not be coming back to Georgia next year, but that's okay. Or Bulldogs, as you can tell, I'm a Bulldog fan. The Bulldogs should be okay next year, but we can always go over that at a different time. But let's just jump in here real quick. Right off the bat, the Tennessee Titans are on the clock with the number one overall pick. As it stands right now, and if the playoffs, blah, 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 blah. I mean, of course, I think it's already set in stone. Obviously, playoffs are going on. The rest of the season's concluded. The Tennessee Titans will have the number one overall pick. But yeah, we're gonna sit here. I have some pretty crazy picks that I think are going to happen just because of what happened last year regards to quarterback. But yeah, so I think the Tennessee Titans, with what Will Levis failed to do this year, I think you kind of have to go quarterback. And if I'm going to be honest with you, you have two really good players up here at the top of the board that I really like. You have Cam Ward, who's productive, has been very productive. This year, he averaged 9.5 yards, per attempt, which is a really good, that's really good. And as you can tell from 2022 to 2023, you can see his progression has obviously gotten better over the years. You get him in a building with a couple of guys who know how to coach quarterbacks. I think you can really see, an improvement with Cam Ward. But yeah, I think the Tennessee Titans. I think they go Cam Ward, and then they go find their tackle and their edge rushers down the board. Like I was saying, the edge rushing group this year is pretty deep. But yeah, okay. Now we're pivoting on to the Cleveland Browns with the number 2 overall pick. Their quarterback situation is interesting. You guys already know Jameis Winston has been the starter since Deshaun Watson got hurt. I think at this point you have to part ways with Deshaun Watson, and I think they're going to draft Shadur Sanders here at number 2. It kind of solidifies them a really, really, really nice player, a good quarterback. I mean, he look at his improvement. I mean, he had a down year his first year at a D1 college level. He still throws for 68.5 completion percentage. And then the next year, despite his interceptions, he improved in the touchdown category, the yards per attempt. He even improved, pretty drastically his completion percentage. He's accurate. He plays with anticipation. He plays within the play, and until that play breaks down, then he'll go and run around and extend. But until he has to extend, he won't extend it. I really like his decision making too. I think he's really accurate. I just like Shadur Sanders. To me, he's the number 1 quarterback on my board. But with tendencies and stuff, all right, we're gonna jump over to now the Giants. The Giants on the clock at number 3. I know it says quarterback, tackle, DB, but you cannot let Travis Hunter sit here at number 3 as an NFL franchise. You cannot let Travis Hunter sit right there. He's the best cornerback in college and also top 3, if not the best receiving talent the draft has ever seen. I know that's crazy to say, but I think Travis Hunter as a catcher, as a pure pass catcher, ridiculous. He's so good. He has strong hands. He actually can run routes pretty good. And he goes up and he gets the football. I've never seen the concentration. I think he's kind of got the same crazy highlight catch ability of a George Pickens. Just because he's the same long, lanky, goes up, puts his body on the line all over the catch radius is everywhere. I think that's kind of where he lies. Now we're going to go over to the Patriots. I think the Patriots have to look down the board a little bit and pick up a strong tackle, and that's going to be Will Campbell. Will Campbell played pretty good this year for the LSU Tigers. He only allowed 2 sacks, 11 quarterback hurries. That's all I need to see if I'm the New England Patriots. Now we're going to jump over to the Jaguars here at pick number 5. I think at pick number 5, I cannot let Abdul Carter sit here any more than he already. I can't see myself not picking Abdul Carter. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name now. Trayvon Walker, the number 1 overall pick a couple years ago. He's kind of fallen, hasn't really lived up to the number 1 overall pick. But I think here at 5, you can go out and get a really good edge rusher in Abdul Carter. He's fast. He can get off blocks really easily. Has a lot of really nice pass moves, and you can drop him back as a linebacker. So he's kind of the all-around, kind of like the other Penn State linebacker, Micah Parsons. Okay. So this is a pick that I think people are going to think I'm crazy for, and then it's a reach. But you'll hear me out and let me explain why I think this is going to happen. I think the Raiders are going to go quarterback, and I don't think it's going to be Dylan Gabriel. I think they're going to draft Jalen Milroe. And the reason why I say the Raiders are going to draft Jalen Milroe is because I think the Raiders, with Tom Brady now integrated within their organization, I think Tom Brady may be able to get his hands on helping Jalen Milroe over the offseason maybe. I think if the Raiders go through here and they look at the top 5 quarterbacks, I think Jalen Milroe beats everybody in the athletic category. I think Jalen Milroe beats them in arm talent. And I mean arm talent. I'm not saying accuracy. I'm saying arm talent. I think Jalen Milroe beats them in arm talent. He has a better deep ball than all of these other players, and he is what I can't remember what he's. How tall is he? He's the dude is 6'2", 225. He's built like a linebacker at the quarterback position. And if the Raiders just take an offseason and they really hone in his middle to short range accuracy, I think, and then after they draft him in the later rounds, go out and get some linemen, some better linemen to give him a little bit of protection. I mean, think about it. The wide receiver room this year is also really deep. You can go way down here as a Raider and go get some of these other guys down here. Whoa, why did that do that? I clicked on wide receiver, not quarterback. If you go down here to these other wide receivers, I think you can get good wide receivers down the board. And then you pair that with Brock Bowers, and you give Jalen Milroe a really nice bunch of weapons. He may be pretty good. Also, again, he can go and the Raiders can later down the board go out and get a Cam Scattaboo or a Dylan Sampson or some of these other guys down here to give him another weapon to throw to. So I think the Raiders are going to pick up the Raiders are going to pick up Jalen Milroe. And also, what happened last year? What did we have, like 6 or 7 quarterbacks in the top 12? And all of those quarterbacks, most of them people said would not go that high, and they did anyways, just because of how important a good quarterback is. I think his comparison. I don't like to do this, but I think he compares pretty well to Anthony Richardson. That's kind of where he lies. The scouts are looking at his talent more than his arm talent, and he played good in college, but I mean he didn't play amazing in college. He didn't have insane numbers. Just under 3,000 yards. The completion percentage is not there. But I mean, I think he's gonna get drafted. I mean, even here, look, PFF has him going to the Giants and the Raiders and the Browns. So I'm on the right track. But yeah, no, now we have the Jets on the clock. I think this one's pretty easy for him. I think they go out and get Mason Graham. I liked Mason Graham coming out of Michigan. I think he played really well in the Ohio State game and was kind of a big contributor in that game. And also Mason Graham, if you play NCAA 25, you cannot run the football on Michigan. And Mason Graham is the reason why. I'm not making that pick based off of a video game, but it helped. Okay, so now we have the Panthers. With another Alabama quarterback making a big run at the end of the year, as in Bryce Young, they kind of drop down the board to pick number 8 here, and I think they go out and get Will Johnson. I think Will Johnson is one of the top cornerbacks in the game. He's definitely your prototypical one-on-one corner. So I like that pick for Carolina. That should give him some nice depth and adds a good player to their roster that needs to start building around Bryce Young. But yeah, eventually we'll do like a 2-round mock draft at some point in the offseason as we get closer to the draft, and we can start really pulling out all the stops on picks and stuff. But yeah, so here we have the Saints here at pick number 9. I think they go defensive line here this high, and I think Nick Scranton is a really good Nick Scorton, excuse me. Nick Scorton is a good player. He only had 4 sacks on the year, but look at those hurries. 28 hurries. As an NFL scout, if I'm an NFL scout, if it was me, I'd go, okay, he has 28 hurries and 4 sacks and 4 hits. To me, that's all the same. That's all the same stat to me. If he's able to get 28 hurries in a season, that means that he's at the quarterback's face all the time. So I think it gives you a really, to pair it with those other guys on the line at on the Saints. I think he adds a good punch on the edge to get them to the quarterback, which I think they lacked this year in quarterback hurries and stuff. But yeah, now we have the Bears. The Bears say they they need a running back. I mean, but look, come on, they're not going to draft Ashton Jeanty this high overall. There's enough players down the board that you can get away with something. I think the Bears. I think they're going to go James Pierce. And the reason I say James Pierce is because he is 6'5", 243 pounds, a junior, so he's only 21 years old. And he had 8 sacks this year and 43 quarterback hurries. I mean, he's a disruptor. He disrupts, he disrupts the offensive line. He played in the SEC, so he's playing against great talent all the time. And I think we may see a little bit of a bit of a run here on the edge rushers. But yeah, James Pierce, the Bears. We'll jump over to San Francisco here at pick number 11. I'm trying to think. San Francisco, the fact that they dropped this far from being in the playoffs last year is kind of wild when you really think about it. But I think you have to look at the lack of production from Christian McCaffrey and the other, playmakers there just weren't able to get it done. And I think they go out and they pick up Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. Adds another, a good solid blocker on the line. Gives Brock Purdy some extra time to throw the football. Yeah, I think that's a good pick for them here at 11. You go up and get a really good talent. Hopefully, you won't be up this far up the draft board for very much longer. But yeah, all right, Dallas. A lot of you are going to say, James, they're going to get Ashton Jeanty. I'm going to say this. It's Jerry Jones. They are not going to go out and get a really good talent that high up the board. I think what they're going to do is I can see them getting Jalen Walker, and they're not going to draft wide receiver that high. And I don't think Jerry Jones makes the mistake twice going out and getting kind of an unproven tackle in Kelvin Banks. I mean, he's good. He only allowed 1 sack. He's a good player. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm not really familiar with him as much as some of the other guys on the board. But I mean, if I'm Miami, I'm taking a hit and I'm going to go Kelvin Banks. If Dallas doesn't pick him up, go get a tackle for Tua and try and stop the CTE if you can. That needs to be their number one priority. Pardon me, there's been a lot of talking in this video, so I thought I would pour myself some water, but I had a craving for sweet tea instead, and that may come back to bite me in the ass. We'll see. So, in the other times that I've done it, personally, on the side, I keep going back to Benjamin Morrison. I know he had injuries at the end of the year, and some of these stats are not amazing, but I watched a little bit of what he does, and he's a really good coverage guy. So I'm gonna pick up Benjamin Morrison for the Colts. As you may know, I am a Georgia fan. If you can't tell, I am also a Falcons fan when I want to be, because it is really frustrating. So I get to enjoy these mock drafts, and I always, always, always cannot wait to get to the Falcons and draft their player, because they will never draft the player we think they're going to draft. So yeah, they did that last year with Michael Penix. We can have that conversation at a later date because I don't want to get into that today. But I think the Falcons go out and they get Michael Williams. One of the first times the Falcons have ever gone out and got a player from their state this high up in the draft. I think you can't let Michael Williams sit there any longer. You got to go out there and get him while you can, because a lot of these teams down at the bottom, they'll be thinking about him down here in the 20s and the teens. We're not over here with the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I feel like need to go. They have to go front seven, and a lot of these tackles have been taken. So I think they jump over to the defensive line, and I think Kenneth Grant is. I think Kenneth Grant's got to be the pick here. I mean, 3 sacks, 23 hurries. I mean, he's actually in a lot of the pass rushing stats. That's kind of crazy. But I think Kenneth Grant. You know, I'm going to go back on that. I'm going to pick up. I think I think they're going to go out and get an offensive line. I take back what I just said. I'm a liar. I understand. I get it. All right. The Bengals. The Bengals just couldn't play together this year. You had an MVP caliber quarterback and just couldn't get everybody else on the same page. I think. Oh man, I just don't know. I just don't think it's a good time for anybody. But I think they would benefit a lot from having Shamar Stewart on their team. 2 sacks, 33 hurries, absolute crazy. 6'6", 290. That guy's huge. He's 21 years old too, so they get a guy that they can move around for a long period of time. Let's get the defense fired up and get them ready for next year. Now we're at the Seahawks. We are at the Seahawks. I feel like they need to go out and they need to get I think they have to go defensive line. And they're going to think I'm insane for doing this. But trust me. Walter Nolan, I'll tell you why. That right there, 6 sacks from a 21-year-old. He's 6'3", 305. You can move him outside, and he can do a little bit of pass rushing too. He was a big target, during the offseason and stuff for teams. They thought he was going to leave Mississippi State, I believe. But yeah, I remember sitting here with the Bucks. The Bucks. Pretty good year this year. They're rolling now. I think they're going to do a pretty good job this year of staying in it. I have a pick that I really like, and I cannot believe that they haven't projected this low. But I think Jahdae Barron from Texas is the best cornerback besides Travis Hunter. Had 5 interceptions, and their quarterback averaged 33.1 as their passer rating. That's insane. He had 542 coverage snaps. He had 67 targets. People just didn't target him that much because he's that good. He's a little short, a little old, but I think you get an immediate, veteran guy. I think he's a good player. He's a really good player. And for this entire time, I still cannot. I have been struggling the last couple of times I've done this on figuring out where Ashton Jeanty goes, and I think at this point he has to go. I think the Broncos, if somehow Ashton Jeanty slips to them at 20, which I don't think is going to happen, the Broncos will be in the upper echelon of the AFC. The AFC. Jeez, had a stroke. Now we're here with the Steelers. Normally, I think the last couple times I've actually had Jahdae Barron going to the Steelers because I think that's such a Steelers pick. But in this one, I think they got to go out and replace some of their older defensive line and go out and get a guy like Kenneth Grant would be a great addition. This is where I have this next pick, I really like. It's kind of been one of my favorites of the whole thing. I really like Tyler Warren. He's 6'6", 261 pounds. He's quick. He can catch. He can run the football. He can do whatever you need. And I think he blocks pretty well as, on top of that. And I think, oh my gosh, Jim Harbaugh, I think going out and getting a Penn State guy, I don't think he's going to enjoy that emotionally. But as a football coach, I think he is going to love that pick and love a player like Tyler Warren to bring him in on the inside, on the line, and do a lot of different stuff with him that close. So I think it's a really good spot for him, especially given his talent. All right, the Packers. I've been talking about the wide receivers a little bit in the sense that I think it's a deep class. And I'm going to clarify on what I mean by deep class. I think these wide receivers in this class, I don't think that there is an unbelievable talent. I think that this class has the most middle to good or middle to great talent we've seen at the wide receiver room in a long time. I think all these players are going to be good. I don't think that Tedero and McMillan is going to get drafted 5 points, like 5th overall. That's not happening. I don't think Luther Burden is going to go in the top 15. I don't think Emeka Ibuka is going to go in the top 20. I think he's going to be right. Like if it's going to be 18 and below is what I think. But I mean, if I'm the Packers, that's your pick, right? Emeka Ibuka. Minnesota Vikings. Easiest pick I've ever made in my entire life. Malachi Starks. I want to go in here to Malachi Starks because I want to know why he slipped for me. I mean, he's 21 years old, 6'1", 205. He played. He played 512 snaps in coverage. He had 62 tackles, 17 assists. He kind of increased his missed tackles this year for whatever reason. I'm not sure. He played in all the games. He's only missed. I mean, he's played in every game at Georgia. And yeah, I mean, he's played a lot. He's been in the box a lot too. He's not afraid to go up and tackle. Malachi Starks, if he doesn't go to the Vikings, I think he goes to the Packers or he goes to the Dolphins. I've had him go to the Dolphins a few times, but I just think it's crazy how deep this draft class is in other places that a guy like Malachi Starks could slip down this far. All right. You just had a wide receiver go in Emeka Ibuka. Now you're sitting here with the Texans, and I think you go out and you add another insane talent, and you go out and you get Luther Burden. I think Luther Burden is another Tank Dell, if not taller and better. I think he's taller than Tank Dell. Yeah, he's definitely taller than Tank Dell. Yeah, I mean, look at the production. I think they didn't have as much talent, but think about it. The reason why he was so good the year in 2023 was because they could just hand it off to Cody Schrader, and that opened up the passing game even more. And the Texans' running back room has been pretty good with the addition of Lord have mercy. I don't remember his name. I know what I'm talking about. I can see his face. And I can see the lady he hit. Um, Crap. But yeah, no, I mean, he's going to be another Tank Dell. Give CJ Stroud another weapon, and it's going to be a nightmare for next year. All right, we're sitting here with the Rams now. I think the Rams. I just think that you have to go cornerback. But I just don't know if I like any of these guys this far down in the first round. Um, yeah, I don't think I like these guys. I've watched a couple highlight videos of Siobhan Rovell. The dude is 6'3", 193, and he's 22 years old. If I'm gonna go out and take a smack at somebody who I'm not really sure how good they are, it's gonna be Siobhan Rovell, and Siobhan Rovell is gonna go to the Rams in this universe. Um, yeah, Washington Commanders from being what they picked fifth last year and picked up Jaden Daniels. Um, what a turnaround for them! That's been pretty awesome for them to have that big of a turnaround after the draft like that. Um, yeah, I think don't know. I don't know if wide receivers that. I mean, Tedero McMillan is good, but I don't think he's worth the 27th pick. I just don't think. I mean, 1,300 yards. That's ridiculous. 6'5". Yeah, give Jaden Daniels another weapon. You can't go wrong. They have him going so high, and I just don't think that's going to happen. I cannot imagine him going as high as you know 3 or 4. That's not happening. I think he's good. I just don't think he's that good. I don't think he's that good. Pardon me, I have to take a drink here. Um, Now we're chilling here with the Ravens. Now the Ravens, I think they have to go secondary. Um, and I really like Trey Amos. I've liked him a lot. I definitely like Trey Amos. I think they go out and they get Ole Miss Rebel here, and Trey Amos. He gets to practice in that defense and that scheme. And this is the part of the draft where the board might go up or down with these playoff teams still alive and whatnot. But yeah, I do have one pick that I think you guys are going to like or dislike. Probably dislike because this is kind of a crazy pick. Um, but I mean, if the Commanders somehow jump the Bills and somehow Tedero McMillan is still here, I think they go Tedero McMillan just to get that jump ball receiver that Josh Allen's been missing. But from what I saw with Matthew Golden, the fact that he's so young and so productive, um, I think that's definitely eye candy for an offense with a great quarterback. Give Josh Allen, Matthew Golden, and good things will happen. I just hope he can catch fast footballs because Quinn Ewers is not that guy that throws that fast. The Eagles here. Says wide receiver, says edge. I think they reach. And they go out and they get a guy like JT Tuimoloau. JT Tuimoloau was a player that I paid a lot of attention to this year. This year he had 14 sacks, 13 hits, and 21 hurries. Last year, he didn't play that good, but he was projected to go higher in the draft if he had left last year. So I think, to be honest with you, 6'5", 269. He's 21. He's 21, guys. That's such a good pick. They have him dropping so far down. I don't know why. I don't know what it's happened. Is there an injury? Am I dumb? I don't know. I don't know why he's dropping down the board so much. But I think that's a great spot for JT Tuimoloau. Um, the Chiefs. I don't like the Chiefs. Just kidding. I like the Chiefs, but I think at some point their luck has to catch up to them. And they go out and get a really good player in Josh Connerly Jr. from Oregon. Played good this year. Had some pretty good stats. Didn't let Dylan Gabriel get hurt too much. And yeah, our last pick of this draft. Excuse me. The Lions. PFF projects the Lions to win the Super Bowl. Never thought I would see it, guys. Never thought I would see it. Now, I am not Dan Campbell by any means. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know who Dan Campbell is going to pick. Because if you've watched any of the last couple drafts with him, oh, look, CP3. Excuse me. You will know that he goes out and picks the most random people, and then they become really good. I think he does something similar to that again this year, and I think he looks at somebody like Mike Green with 17 sacks, 6'4", 248. He's a redshirt sophomore. They don't even know his age. Sounds like free 99 to me. That's what I hear. 36 hurries with 17 sacks. 6'4". That is Dan Campbell if I've ever seen one, my friend. So, yeah. Here's our draft. Ignore these ads. I hate you. Feel free. I gotta actually take a picture of this so we can hold myself accountable for next week. Pardon my phone. Actually, I don't care. Yeah. I'm going to take a picture of that, and I'm going to put it into the stream tomorrow and show Peyton and go over this a little bit. Or maybe I'll send him a picture of it, and you can look at it for a while. But I think this is a pretty good draft. A little bit of crazy stuff happened. Like I didn't think Malachi Starks I was going to let slide that far down. Same with Emeka Egbuka. Ashton Jeanty, I'm still trying to figure out a way for him to get up into the top 10. Jahdae Barron, I think, has to be a Steeler just because it's just such a Steeler thing to do. But yeah, that is the mock draft. I hope everybody's having a good New Year. Hope it's off to a good start. I know, in terms of the entire world, we're not really off to a great start in 2025. I do want to, send out my thoughts and prayers to everyone who's affected by the fires. And, a lot of people don't realize that people are still getting over the hurricane from like September as well, up the East Coast. So I want to reach out to those people too, and thoughts and prayers for them, thoughts and prayers for the fires. And I hope we can quiet down this 2025 and get to some good, get to some more positive things. Also looking forward to next week. You guys going to be watching the national championship? I will. I will be watching the national championship Monday night. I'd like to do a Monday night stream. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that. That may be something I do. I can set up the TV. I have a little TV right there. I'll set it up. Maybe we can sit here and we can enjoy the national championship. But yeah, you never know. But also, wish your boy luck on his real estate pre-license course test tomorrow. Yeah, have that to look forward to. But yeah, I really want to say a couple things about want to say thank you to everyone who has supported the show up to this point. I know it's not like a bunch of different people, and like it's not like 1,000 people, but I didn't think that we'd have any views. I didn't think we'd start off with anything. So I just want to say thank you to all those people out there who watched, who commented, and subscribed. We still have a lot of work to do. Also, want to say thank you to Caden, who's with Bet the House, for sponsoring us. Again, remember, bet on yourself. You can't do anything in life if you don't try. Like if you say you want to do something, or you think you might want to do something, and you talk about it, and then you never do it, you'll never know if you were going to accomplish that until you try. It's kind of like what I did with real estate. Like I've been talking about that for like 3 years. And then now all of a sudden I finally put all the pieces together, and just started to like focus on doing it rather than saying I'm going to do it, Also, I want to say this too, like if you guys have things that you love to do, and that you would always love to do in the future or whatever, just know that you should do it, and you'll never know, if it was going to work out until you try it. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, and you can say that you tried. But I can't remember where that tangent was going. I had a really nice thing to say too. Crap. I was gonna say that, like, when you go out and you start doing something that you like to do, I've noticed that, I don't know if I'm religious, but I'm not like, I don't go to church every Sunday. I don't sit here and wear it on my sleeve. But I think too, like, when you start doing something that's good for you, whether it's like a passion project or a hobby, there's always going to be adversity that questions how much you really love to do that. Like today, I mean, my internet wasn't working, so that's why we were late. But I could have just not done it today. I could have just gone to bed, and not streamed, and not talked to you guys or anything like that. But I chose to do it because if you really want to do something that's good and that's productive, the world will come at you with reasons to not do it, will get in your way, that'll make you not want to do it, or feel like, oh, well, this isn't working, so it's not all going to work. No, you have to persevere through that adversity and get through it and keep going, to achieve that. And then at the end of the road, once you've achieved it and you say, oh, well, I made this successful podcast, or, oh, I finally got my real estate license, or oh, I finally went, fishing for the first time, and I finally caught that fish I've been wanting to catch forever. It makes it all that much better when you can go back and you can look at it, and say, man, the world tried to stop me, but I persevered, and I, went through the adversity, and it makes it all that much better. But yeah, that's kind of my soapbox. I thought I would just sit here and hang out with an empty room, right? Nobody's watching, but that's okay. I just want to say I appreciate everybody. I love doing this show. We're going to make it a schedule thing. Me and Peyton will be in the studio tomorrow. Just kidding. Not studio. We will be here tomorrow. We're going to do the mock draft with Peyton. That'll be really fun and interesting, because I wonder what he thinks about this year's mock draft. I wonder what he thinks. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your brothers. That's also your family. Tell random people at work. Tell everybody about us. Go follow us on social media. Go follow us on Instagram, Twitter. I'm gonna have to rebrand it. I'm working on that right now. We're gonna be looking out for like the Go for Two show. is what I want it to be from now on. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Y'all have a great night. Take it easy.